Okay, so for the very last page of notes, so it says find the limit of f of x as x approaches 1. And so I had to find the limit from the left and from the right. And please note that I had to use the two different functions. And that's because when you approach it from the left, you're plugging in things like 0.9, 0.999, 0.99999, and all of those numbers are less than 1, so you have to use the first piece. Down here, when I approach it from the right, I'm using numbers like 1.1, 1.01, 1.001, which is all bigger than 1, so I'm approaching it from the right, and I have to use the second piece of the function. When I used direct substitution, I plugged in my 1, 4 minus 1 gets me 3, and down here when I plugged in 1, 4 times 1 minus 1 squared, which is 1, is still going to get me 3. And then since the left and the right sides both agree the limit is 3, then the answer is that the limit is 3. And then I hope you got down here and you were like, this kind of looks familiar. Because the first 6 weeks we did this thing called the difference quotient over and over and over again. And the difference quotient is really just something you're going to do in calculus a lot. And so I wrote you a little note that if you did f of 2, it means you just plug 2 in. So if you're doing f of 3 plus h, it means that you have to plug in 3 plus h. So here's what I did. I have my function f of x equals x squared plus 1. So first I have to do f of 3 plus h. So that means this x right here that I'm pointing to with my pen has to become 3 plus h, which I did right there, minus the 1 from the function, which my pen and finger are pointing to, minus f of 3. Well, f of 3, which I plugged in here, ends up being 8. And so when you FOIL this out, you're going to get 9 plus 6h plus h squared, and my 9 and my negative 1 and my 1 are all going to undo each other. And please note that I had to change this to an h and this to an h, and all the way down it should be the limit as h approaches 0 because the variable here is changed to h. And then when you get to, after your numbers cancel out, your constants cancel out, you are left with 6h plus h squared all over h. Well, each one of these has an h that you can cancel out, so really you have the limit of as h approaches 0 of 6 plus h. And then you plug in your 0 with direct substitution, and 6 plus 0 is just 6. So the limit of this function, or what you just found right here, is that the derivative, which you will learn a lot about in calculus, or the limit, is going to be 6. And now you've had your official introduction to limits. So now you need to go to page 246 and 247, which is right here. And if you are a Miss Guidry student, these pages are due on Friday the 15th of May. And if you're Coach Torres' student, these pages are due on Monday, May 18th. And the difference is that Coach Guidry will be out on Monday, May 18th, and Coach Torres will be out on the 15th, and thus the different due dates. If you have any questions, let your teachers know.